What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. So as you guys know, I have the Turtle Miata, and the plan for this coming fall, we're doing Drag Week 2021. So we were registered for 2020, it got canceled because of COVID, but 2021 is the go as of now, which it definitely will be running. So there's a couple things I need to do to get ready for Drag Week. Before we do Drag Week, the motor is going to be coming out. We're going to do rods and pistons. We are going to be changing radiators. I want to have a bigger unit with another fan. And more or less, that's basically it. A little minor penalty stuff. So in the last video, you guys saw me pick up this engine right here. So the purpose of me buying this particular engine was actually just to get these cylinder heads. So those are $7.99 heads. They have the big intake valves, and they should flow more air than my 862s. Now, I wasn't originally anticipating it coming with a complete engine. Like, for what I paid for everything, that's pretty much what you buy the heads for. So I'll show you a reason why they were selling the engine so cheap. So this is the camshaft out of that engine. You can see on this cam lobe, excuse me, there's a lot of pitting on this cam lobe right here. And then also, if I spin it around, take a look at this guy, you can see that that cam lobe was straight chopped. So this engine had a lifter failure. So the lifter broke, and then the camshaft obviously ate itself up. So, but pulled everything apart. The block is in fantastic shape. The bearings that came off these rods and pistons were in amazing shape. Hell, better than what I have in this engine now, and this has well over 100,000 miles. So today, the plan is, I'm really curious to see if we're able to put an aluminum block in the car via weight-wise. So I have had this thing on scales since it's been back together, you know, TX2K, on Houston scales and whatnot, but I have not had the car on corner scales yet. So with the last setup we had for the turbo kit, with the radiator being in the back, the big air-to-air intercooler in the front, it was 54% on the nose and 46% on the rear. Now, I'm not sure what it is now, but if I take out my iron block and I go to an aluminum block, that basically takes around 90 pounds off the front of the car. So you might start going into the danger zone of wheelies. Now, there is a twist on that, because I could put the aluminum block in the car, but if I need to add weight, I could actually put the weight where I need it. So I've learned this with Brian's Camaro. You can have a huge difference of just 10 pounds of weight as long as it's placed in a certain area. So I actually do have a couple places on the front of the car where we could bolt weights to. So that could be an option instead of just having the aluminum block or the iron block in the car. So the goal right now is we're gonna actually head over to Brian's house. We're gonna drive the car, and I wanna put it up on corner scales just to see what the weight balance is now. But since Brian hasn't seen this, and I haven't told you guys about it, I picked up a new asset to the Turtle fleet. So I would like to introduce you this new girl. So I don't think I ever posted this in a video. I actually purchased a trailer kit from Northern Tool. It's a 40 by 48 inch trailer kit, and I was actually going to assemble that. And then I wanted to build a trailer off of that. So I got my turtle shirts in. I stopped by to see my friends over at CW Pence. Great partners with the car. They helped me out tremendously, and they've always been supportive of what I've done. I've used them for many, many years now. In fact, 2009, I actually bought a brand new Mazda Speed 3 right after high school, and I blew up the motor. I shot a rod out the block, put another motor in it, and when we went to go put the head back on the car, I had dropped one of the head stud washers in the head. So I went to go flip over the head to get the washer out, and I actually dumped all the cam caps off the engine. And even back then in 2010, CW Pence was the ones that fixed the cylinder head for me. So since then I've been dealing with them and I've had nothing but great things to say. So anyway, I was talking to Jeff and we are planning on the new setup for the fall. So as I mentioned, after we run Streetcar Takeover Charlotte, this engine's coming out of the car. It's gonna get rods, pistons, just so it's a reliable 1,000 horsepower. That's why I'm torn between what block's gonna go in the car, because that's a strong block. Even though it's aluminum, it's strong as hell. And then obviously the iron blocks are strong. But we were talking about what internals to go with. And he had mentioned to me that a local drag weeker is selling his trailer that he built, and he bought an enclosed trailer for drag week. So we talked about numbers and stuff, and I said, holy crap, that's a fantastic deal. And yeah, we picked it up. So here we have awesome proven drag week trailer. So funny enough, this actually started off as a 40 by 48 inch base, just like that one did. You can see that he welded some supports. It's kind of a 2-story deal now. This whole top actually lifts off. There's pins on every corner, and you can take the whole top off. How he had it set up before is he had a cooler that went here. On the other fender well, he had a fuel jug. He kept his 2 tires right here, and then his floor jack was bolted in there. And in the front, I mean, you have a great big aluminum box for anything you want. And then you have this massive top up here for your luggage. Now, oddly enough, I was curious to see how big it really was. So I put my suitcase in here. And I mean, it looks so small in here. Like, that suitcase is what I always go racing with. So I know that's good for 5 days worth of clothes for me. So I didn't really realize how big that is. So this is actually what we're going to be using for drag week this year. Now, it is not exactly how I need it. We will be making some changes and whatnot, but for the most part, this is exactly what I mean, this is going to be a beautiful piece to have behind the Miata. So a couple changes I will tell you heads up now is I have the VMS Racing Delta wheels on the car right now, and I actually run a full-size front tire. That's a 205/55. Well, they are releasing a skinny version of my wheel this year. So for drag week, I'm actually going to put the skinnies for the car on this trailer because the lug pattern is the same. That way we have matching wheels throughout the trailer and the car, and I think it's going to look badass. Now, whenever I'm home from drag week, I can always put these ugly little steelies back on and take the skinnies and put them on the car. So the skinnies will actually be dual purpose. I've already looked up weight ratings and stuff like that, and those tires are more than sufficient to haul this trailer. So it's actually gonna be really, really, really sick. Now also, those diameter tires will be taller than what's on here now. So we will have to redo or make new fenders. And having bigger tires will actually allow us to drive at a faster speed because it won't overheat my wheel bearings. So I'm super thrilled. Like this, I couldn't have imagined something like this, because, you know, drag weekers, you got to figure there's, you know, let's just say less than 500 cars every year that go. And that's spread out through the whole US and the world. They have guys that come in from Australia, Sweden, all other countries to do that event. So to find a guy that's 30 minutes from my house that actually had a proven trailer that he's done, I mean, you can see he did 2016 and he did 2018. And it's already a proven setup. So, I mean, I know it works. And honestly, it's seeing proportion wise, especially now that I put my luggage in there, there's a lot of room in here. And I think we'll be able to get by just fine using this trailer. So I'm super thrilled. Now, I do want to pull it apart. It will either get painted or powder coated, not sure yet. Like, there will be changes. I want to make this my own. I am grateful. I mean, Mark did a fantastic job putting this piece together. You guys just know I have my own way of doing things. So it's awesome. I'm super thrilled and super thankful that that opportunity came up. So anyhow, we're gonna take the trailer to Brian's house now because I want him to see it. So I'm gonna connect it behind the Miata, and we are going to head over to Brian's house. We're gonna put the car on the scales, and we will see what we're working with weight bias. right, so we made it to Brian's house. He welcomed me for dinner, so I was very appreciative of that. So now we are going to put the turtle up on the corner scales just to see what she weighs. So all four, and we will find out how much it weighs and what the balancing is. So I mean, the only things, I mean, this is in complete ready to go race mode. I topped off the fuel before I left, so it should be pretty accurate to what I normally run. I know the water box is full. The only thing I don't have with me is like my helmet and my fire suit, but that's some all little stuff. This will give me a really good understanding of what everything will be. So let's get this girl on some scales. Alrighty, so she's on scales, and honestly, I'm relatively surprised. The bias is pretty similar to what it was before. So currently, without me in the car, it's 54.5 on the nose, 45.5 in the rear. Now let's see if I can crawl into the car gracefully on camera. That's never easy. Alrighty, so now I'm inside the car, and we are 53.7 on the nose, 46.3 on the rear. Honestly, that's rather surprising to me. So it seems like we shifted some weight towards the rear. I'm going to add on screen right now what it was before. I genuinely don't remember off the top of my head. I do have photos the last time we did this. But honestly, I'm pretty thrilled. It's not bad. But I will say, pulling 100 off the nose will be a bit light, but we can easily add the ballast back up front. So it's still a real consideration. I know I'm thinking about it. But I'm going to try to do this now without screwing it up, because the last time I did this and I tried changing it from bias to total weight, I screwed it up. So you got to hold this button, click that button, let go. All right, and then we got to hold this button again and click that one. What the heck is that? Oh, I'm doing something wrong here. I'm trying to go back to total. There we go. Total, change it back to pounds already. So here we have it. The car is 2,902 pounds with me in it. And that shows you the entire weight of the car right there. Well, that at least gives me an idea of what the weight is now. The beautiful part is I always have access to these scales, so I could always, you know, put some weight on the car. We can move stuff around, and that would put that weight bias to where it needs to. If I do pull 100 pounds off the nose, it probably would go close to 51%. So weight will probably have to be added there. But there is still stuff on this car that I could actually pull weight from. Like I still have thick brackets from where my old radiator used to be under the back. A lot of stuff that can be trimmed out if I need to, but I can't complain too much. So that kind of proves it. If I trapped 166 mile an hour and we have confirmation the car weighs 2,900 pounds, I make 1,000 horsepower. That's awesome. 1,000 horsepower Miata, and we have mathematically proven that. So anyway, I'm gonna get the car out of here and get it off the scales. Brian and the gang have been up to some crazy stuff with the sprint cars. Unfortunately, that means the Camaro just sits here on the projects. I miss this girl, man. We had some great times. Hell, this is the reason why I really started getting more into drag racing, being involved with Brian and his program. I miss it, but I know ultimately he's happier racing with the family and such. So I'm still happy for him either way. But he gets to be my passenger during drag week, so he's not completely away from the drag racing stuff just yet. So let's get this girl back home. We are going to go home, and then this weekend I'm probably going to start pulling the car apart to do the head gaskets. I do need to pull the oil filter off, cut it, just to make sure. If it's glittery, then there's no chance of me going to Charlotte, but if the oil filter looks great, then I have no reason not to. So I appreciate you guys watching today's video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.